we are going to learn about a very important chapter of chemistry, which is basic of chemistry. If you don't understand this, you cannot understand the further chemistry, which is the language of chemistry. So, the chemistry is a branch of science which has its own language. Let's learn that language now. Okay, so what is a symbol? Symbol is the short form and or an abbreviated form of an element. So, why is the symbol required? Because you can't always write hydrogen, lithium, magnesium, so big names of elements. Always writing them is going to be difficult, especially in the chemical formulas. So, therefore, you have symbols through which you can just write a short form of it and you can understand it also very well. So, for our convenience, we have kept symbols for the elements. First, there was John Dalton who suggested a figurative symbols. So, figurative symbols means what you can see it over here. Means for hydrogen or sorry, for oxygen you will be one circle, hydrogen you will be drawing one circle and one dot in it. For nitrogen, one standing line in a circle. Carbon failure, you will draw a black circle. So, this would have been very difficult, even more complicated. Therefore, this was not taken. Nextly, we had Berzelius who came up with a very simple and a nice system of representing symbols. Here you can see the first letter of the symbol was itself taken as the first letter of element was itself taken as a symbol. But if the first letter was the same, then the second case would be when the first letter was written in capital and second letter was written in small. Like hydrogen is capital H and helium is capital H small e. Then you also have the another case where if the second letter is also same, then what was done was that a very important letter of that word which is there was taken. Like carbon ke liye you have only C, calcium ke liye you have Ca, that is the second case, and for chromium you have Cr, or for copper you have Cu. So it's taken in like that. Not for copper, I guess. Sorry, not for copper, for chromium. Fourth case was when what happened was in that case, that time there were not only English scientists but other scientists were also there. So those scientists would keep the names of elements in their language, like the Latin or in German or somewhat like that. But English was going to be better. So there was a conflict between them. So what was decided at last was that you write the name element as English word and give the symbol as the symbol of Latin name. Like copper is the English word, but its Latin name is cuprum, and therefore the this symbol is taken as Cu from cuprum. It's done like that. Gold, English word, Latin name. Aurum, symbol Au. Silver, argentum is the Latin name and Ag is taken as the symbol. So it's done like that. Valency. You have two definitions of valency. First is the valency is the number of electrons an atom can donate or accept so as to achieve stable electronic configuration. So we learned about this in the atomic structure, that if an atom has to become stable and unreactive, it has to attain a state of stable electronic configuration, that's octet or duplet. So to attain that, the number of electrons which is needed is the atoms, then it may be donating it or accepting it. That is valency. Like sodium, say if you remove one electron, it can become sodium positive ion. Then from chlorine, if you add one electron, it becomes chlorine negative. So one electron, if they remove away, they can attain a stable electronic configuration. So it's like that. Then the definition 2 is valency is the number of hydrogen atoms which can combine with that element or displace that one atom of element or radical so as to form a compound. Like in hydrochloric acid, one hydrogen can combine with a one Cl atom. Therefore, the Cl valency is 1. H2SO4. SO4 is what? Sulfate. So for sulfate, two hydrogen atoms have to combine. Therefore, sulfate's valency is 2. So I hope you must have understood. Yeah. Variable valency. Certain metals which are there, they exhibit more than one valency. That is called as variable valency. Why is this variable valency seen? Because sometimes what happens, when a lot of energy is there in an atom, it loses electrons from the valence shell also, and one electron jumps out from the penultimate shell, that is the second last shell also. So therefore variable valency is seen. Radical. Radical is a group of atoms or elements that behaves like a single unit and show a single valency. Chemical formula. A molecule of a substance, that is element or compound, could be represented by symbols. This representation is called as chemical formula. Hydrogen reacts with oxygen forming water. Now hydrogen which is there, its symbol is H, oxygen symbol is O. So therefore two atoms of hydrogen combine with one atom of oxygen forming water. So therefore the formula becomes H2. So it is done like that. Then you have the characteristics of chemical formula. For monoatomic element, it is represented by a single symbol. When an element exists as a molecule, then a subscript is written after the symbol, which is the number of atoms of that element in the molecule, as I told you before. A compound which contains whole number of atoms of the components elements, indicating that the elements are in chemical combination, thereby representing the molecular formula. The molecular formula also indicates the number of units of the radical or the compound, which the proper subscript of the atom is given of the radical. So you have first valency, that is positive valency 1. In positive you have potassium, sodium, hydrogen and ammonium. Then you have valency 2 negative, valency 1 negative. You have chloride, chloride, bromide, iodide, nitrite, nitrate, hydrogen bicarbonate, bisulfite, bisulfate, hypochlorate, aluminate, permanganate. Then you also have valency 2. Positive mein you have calcium, magnesium, zinc, barium, nickel, cobalt, uranium. While in negative valency 2 you have sulfite, sulfate, sulfide, carbonate, oxide, chromate, dichromate, peroxide, silicate, zincate, plumbite. Then you have valency 3. Positive you have calcium, magnesium, zinc, barium, nickel, cobalt, uranium. Valency 2 mein negative you have, sorry, valency 3, no, yeah, valency 2 negative you have sulfide, sulfate. No, I did this. I want valency 3. Yeah. Valency 3 positive mein you have aluminium and chromium, while in negative you have phosphite, phosphate and nitride. Then valency 4, only negative is present, positive is not present, that is carbide. This valency chart is very important in chemistry, and therefore is you should be by hearting this valency chart. Compound. Compound is a pure substance that is composed of two or more elements which are combined chemically in a fixed proportion. The example of it are hydrochloric acid, HCl, KOH, KBr, CH4, CH3OH, H2O and all that. Characteristics of a compound. Components in a compound are in a definite proportion. That means H2O, hydrogen has to be 2 molecules, oxygen has to be 1 molecule. That is definite proportion. Compounds are always homogeneous. You can't see two different elements present in that. Only you can see it as a single unit. Particles in a compound are of one kind. That means when a compound is made, all the particles you can see, if for example you take HCl, all the particles any particle you take from that, you will only see HCl. You can't see एक side पे H दिखा, एक side पे Cl दिखा. That is not possible. HCl will be only seen in the smallest particle also. The compound has a definite set of properties. That means the composition cannot be varied. Hence, it is uniform composition, and components cannot be seen separately. Components in a compound do not retain their original properties and can be separated by chemical means only. Then you have some names of some specific compounds. First is acids. The HCl is known as the hydrochloric acid, nitric acid HNO3, sulfuric acid H2SO4, carbonic acid H2CO3, phosphoric acid H3PO4, and acetic acid CH3COOH. Bases में you have potassium hydroxide SKOH, sodium hydroxide NaOH, calcium hydroxide COH twice, zinc hydroxide ZnOH twice, magnesium hydroxide MgOH twice. Salts when you have the lead nitrate, that is PbNO3 twice, the potassium bromide KBr, calcium chloride CaCl2, rock salt NaCl, gypsum, that is dihydrate, CSO4.2H2O, blue vitriol, that's pentahydrate, COSO4.5H2O, Epsom salt, that's hectahydrate, MgSO4.7H2O, green vitriol, that is FeSO4.7H2O, Glauber salts, that is decahydrate, which is Na2SO4.10H2O, while washing soda is again a decahydrate, which is Na2CO3.10H2O. Hydrocarbons, from the name itself you can understand that it is actually hydrogen and carbon. So here you have a simple trick for remembering these hydrocarbons, yeah. So here a simple technique is that you take C first and you take H. The first stage of H is going to be 4. This is methane. Then you add 2 over here, 2 in both of the places. You add 2 in C and you add 2 in H, that is H4 plus 2, 6. That is ethane. Then you add 2 in this, that will become C4. 6 may you add 2, C8, that is propane, and butane also you will do the same thing and you will get butane. Then you have alcohol. Alcohol is again of C, hydrogen, carbon, and also you have oxygen over here. So here again you have a very simple trick for remembering the name. So you keep C first, H you take 3, and OH you take as it is. So CH3. Then you add 2 here in C and you add 2 here in hydrogen. That makes it 5, and OH will remain as it is. That is ethanol. Then propanol के लिए you will add 2 more CH4, C4 it became, H में 2 or 7OH, that is propanol. Can you tell me which is this one? This is CH3OH, so this is methanol. How do you write a chemical formula for a compound? Step 1, you write Na and Cl, the symbol of these positive atoms of radical first and then the negative atom, like Na and Cl you have written. I have written here Na and Cl. Wait, I'll show you here. Na, Cl. Write the valency number on the right side of the symbol, like Na1 plus, NaCl minus, 1 9. So I write here plus 1, I write here minus 1. Interchange the valency number, that is the valency number of the other atom will be the number of atoms of the of the compound. That means 1 I take it here, 1 I take it here. That means number of sodium is going to be 1. The what you can say, I don't know, this positive and negative that you ignore, okay. What you will take is only the number. So 1 sodium, 1 chlorine. We will take one more example. H and SO4. H valency is 1, SO4 ka valency is 2. Interchange. H will be 2, SO4 will be 1. That gives you H2SO4. Like that, the formula are written. Then you have certain rules for writing a chemical formula. Compound having a metal and non-metal में you should write the metal first and then the non-metal. Okay, and non-metal should be given a suffix. The example is given over there. Then compound having 2 non-metals में The non-metal should be written side by side, and the prefix like mono, di, tri is given. Compounds having elements and two elements and oxygen. Two elements written side by side and oxygen is written after them at last. If oxygen is more, ate is given suffix. Oxygen is less, ite is the suffix given. You must have heard about sulfite and sulfate. So sulfite is SO3, sulfate is SO4. What is the difference? O is more over here. Therefore, it is sulfate and that is sulfite. Chemical equation. A chemical equation is a shorthand form of a chemical change. So it contains reactions which involve reactants which involve in the chemical change and products which is a result of the chemical change, and they are represented by the symbol and a formula. The reactants are the substances that take part in the chemical change, while the products are the substances that form the that are formed as a result of the chemical change. What is the advantage of this chemical equation is that an equation tells us about the chemical nature of the reactants and products. Then it also tells us about the nature of the elements and radicals that are involved in that. It tells us the direction of the equation, means if the direction means if it is combining or it is breaking or it is reversible, irreversible, all that it tells. The state of matter, solid, liquid, gas of the substance, it tells. Disadvantage is that the equation cannot tell about the concentration of both reaction and products. That means is if reaction is a reactant is more or product is more, and what is more, what is less, all that it cannot tell. The speed of reaction cannot be told by a chemical reaction of equation, and the change in color cannot be also told. If the reaction is completed or not, that we also cannot understand. And light and sound, the evolution of these two energies also cannot be seen directly in a chemical equation. So that also we can't tell. Balanced chemical equation. You know, the balanced chemical equation is the one in which the number of atoms of each element is same as on the other side of the reactant and the products. As you can see the example over here, it has to be the same. Why is that it has to be the same? It is written over here. It is because of the law of conservation of matter. According to that, matter is neither decreased or neither destroyed. So it cannot be the course in the course of chemical change, it cannot be decreased or destroyed. Therefore, an unbalanced equation could imply that atoms have been created or destroyed. That is not possible. Then you have REM and RMM. REM is the relative atomic mass and RMM is the relative molecular mass. Atoms are very, very small to weigh, and so they are very light and small to weigh. So a relative mass of atom is considered, as it is studied that A, that is number of electrons plus number of neutrons, that is the mass number. So mass of an atom is compared with the mass of hydrogen since 1961, but mass of carbon 12 atom is considered as a standard now. Relative atomic mass. Relative atomic mass is the mass is that of an element is the number of the relative atomic mass of an element is the number of times that one atom of that element is heavier than 1/12 of carbon atom. Relative atomic mass, you can write it as mass of an element mass of an atom upon of that element upon 1/12 of the mass of the carbon 12 atom. Relative atomic mass is expressed in grams, and therefore it is known as gram atomic mass. If it is expressed in AMU also, that is atomic mass unit. The some atomic weights are not whole numbers, they exist in the form of isotopes. Relative molecular mass, they are the mass of an element of or a compound in it's the number of times one molecule of that substance is heavier than 1/12 of that of carbon 12 atom. So the formula remains the same, only molecules come in between. Relative molecular mass of an substance is if it is expressed in grams, it is gram molecular mass. How to calculate that? The mass which you expand the formula, that is H2O is there. H2 matlab 2H, H plus HO, or H plus O plus H, whatever you want to write you can write. Weight of H is what? 1. Weight of O is what? 16. Weight of H is what? Again 1. So 1 plus 16 plus 1 is the total weight of this H2O. So it is going to be 18. So it's going like that you do. percentage composition. You have three steps. First is you find the relative molecular mass of that substance, and whatever you want, which atom ka what you want now, relative atomic mass you find of that substance ki wo element in that substance, how much weight of that element is there, that you find out. Then you do 100 into rmm upon rem. So example, you take of hydrogen, the percentage of hydrogen in water. So hydrogen is 1, oxygen is since there are 2 hydrogens, so it is going to be 2 into 1 or 1 plus 1, which is 2. So rmm of water is 18, as we saw before. So percentage of hydrogen in H2 is going to be 100 into 2 upon 18, which is equal to 88.89. So I hope you must have understood about the chapter language of chemistry. Thank you.